The Staffordshire Potteries is the industrial area encompassing the 6 towns of Burslem, Fenton, Hanley, Longton, Tunstall and Stoke, which later became the city of Stoke-On-Trent in Staffordshire. North Staffordshire became a centre of ceramic production in the earlier 17th century, due to the local availability of clay, salt, lead and coal. Hundreds of companies produced all kinds of pottery, from tableware and decorative pieces to industrial items. The main pottery types of earthenware, stoneware and porcelain were all made in large quantities, and the Staffordshire industry was a major innovator in developing new varieties of ceramic bodies such as bone china and jasperware, as well as pioneering transfer printing and other glazing and decorating techniques. In general, Staffordshire was strongest in the middle and low price ranges, though the finest and most expensive types of wares were also made. By the late 18th century, North Staffordshire was the largest producer of ceramics in Britain, despite significant centres elsewhere, and relied heavily on child labour throughout the production process. Large export markets took Staffordshire pottery around the world, especially in the 19th century. Production began to decline in the late 19th century as other countries developed their industries. After World War II, it declined steeply. Production continued in the area, but at a small fraction of the levels at the peak of the industry. The introduction of the Clean Air Act in 1956 gave local authorities the power to control emissions of smoke, grit, dust and fumes from industrial premises and furnaces and set up smoke control zones. This act saw many of the bottle kilns shut down, and with china and pottery being produced abroad for less cost, this spelt the end for pottery manufacture in Staffordshire and most of the UK. These large buildings are the former Falcon Pottery Works in Stoke-On-Trent, not to be confused with the Hanley factory of the same name. This Falcon Works was the Goss family business, producing its famous goshawk crested Goss china souvenirs. The Goss business moved into Falcon Works in around 1870 under William H. Goss. He passed the business to his sons Victor and William. Victor died in a hunting accident in 1913, and the younger William lost interest in the business. It was bought out by Colden Potteries in 1929. The Goss Works closed in 1944, and the site has declined ever since, passed around between owners and used by a few small businesses, but never hitting the heights that W.H. Goss saw again. William Henry Goss studied at the School of Design, Somerset House in London. He initially specialised in ivory porcelain and perfected a method of improving the finish of jewelled porcelain and invented the body and enamels for the heraldic china by which he is best known today. From 1858 to 1870, William Henry Goss was at the Cock Works in John Street, which is now Lees Street. He set up in business there on his own after working at W.T. Copeland's for about a year. He then moved to the Falcon Works around 1870. In 1873, Goss registered a patent for improvements in manufacture of various items made from ceramic materials. In 1883, his son Adolphus joined the firm and was key in developing the souvenir trinket market. But in 1900, Adolphus left the firm after some disagreements with his father. Between 1902 and 1905, the Falcon Works were extended. William H. Goss handed over the firm to 2 of his other sons, Victor Henry and William Huntley. W. H. Goss died in 1906 and was buried in Harts Hill Cemetery. In 1913, Victor Henry died in a riding accident and William Huntley was left in charge of the business. But he was not interested in its progress and the firm gradually fell behind the times. In 1929, the business was taken over by Colden Potteries Limited and continued under the Goss name. In 1929, Goss was an exhibitor at the British Industries Fair in Birmingham. They were listed as manufacturers of ivory, porcelain, teaware, preserved pots and souvenirs. In 1934, the business was renamed Goss China Co. Limited, and the business was acquired by Harold T. Robinson, who also purchased Colden Potteries and many heraldic china producers. The works finally closed in 1944. In 1956, the moulds and engravings were purchased by the Lawley Group Limited, and by this time the Falcon Works belonged to Portmeirion Potteries Limited. In August 1979, the two remaining glossed kilns and workshop warehouse range were registered as listed buildings. In 1985, the Goss trademark was revived by Royal Dalton Limited, and in 2002, Portmeirion carried out a study called The Potteries Response on Maintenance of the Environment Promote Life Project. The original Promote Life proposal was to build a working factory of the millennium incorporating a visiting centre on a derelict site of about 1.3 hectares adjacent to the factory on London Road, incorporating the former Falcon Works kilns and buildings. However, following a review of the visitor centre project, the Portmeirion Board of Directors decided to invest in its core business rather than develop the tourism sector. In December 2002, Portmeirion applied for listed building planning consent for part demolition of the Falcon Works and refurbishment of the remaining area. This application was abandoned. In 2011, the Falcon Works was sold by Portmeirion to a company named Connexa. Proposals to convert the listed former Pottery Works into 87 flats have been rejected. The site was bought by Daiwan Property Development Limited in 2021, which submitted the plans, but City Council planning officers refused permission due to the lack of affordable housing and said they would harm the character of the works. The plans would have seen 3 new 5-storey blocks of flats built to contain 63 apartments, with another 24 created in the existing listed buildings. One of the buildings, which contains 2 bottle kilns, would have been used for cycle storage. Permission had been previously given in 2014 for 43 affordable apartments at the Falcon Works. Daiwan Property Development Limited said its proposals would have public benefits, including preserving the existing bottle kilns and regenerating a derelict site to prevent crime and antisocial behaviour. The building suffered a major fire in July 2022. The fire was believed to have been started deliberately. Right, I've just come into one of the old bottle kilns here. There's 2 of them. Every there. And you can hear the noise of the current factory next door. So the factory next door is now owned by Portmeirion. Random bath there. And there's steps up inside the kiln. Wow. The metal braces keeping it so it doesn't bow outwards. Let's go and have a look inside. Oh wow. So we're inside the kiln. You can see right up to the top there, look. Wow. So they would have stacked all the pottery in here and fire it. It's amazing. It's huge, absolutely huge. On round, you can see the old windows there. this second one through here. As you can see right up out the roof there to the top of the kiln. Look at this place. Okay, some kind of machine. Beware of the dog. There's been a major fire in here at some point. All the moulds and all the different moulds and casts all lying about. See through there, that's where the major fire's been. There's actually an old fireplace over there. This was probably an office at some point for the factory manager, probably. All through there, all burned. Right, let's carry on through here. It is pretty dark in this bit. Someone's suitcase, a football. More moulds on the floor there. Tell this place is huge. I think it's about 3 floors. So I've got an old conveyor belt here. It would have either taken, well, I would imagine it would have brought stuff down to go out for delivery. Some more moulds on the floor. Let's carry on through. See all the paint peeling off the wall. Doors here, look. It's like an old fireplace. There's a safe in there. So this was probably like the manager's office or the warehouse or the pay department. through. Not sure what these divided compartments about. Are they little offices or what? They're very reminiscent of stables, to be honest. With the, not sure what they would have been. You can see it's very creepy looking down through there, down to the bottom. There's lots of shadows. An amazing building now. Got a big pipe there, probably steam or something. Another room back here with all the fuse boxes and everything. Big door here. Locked from the outside, I think. Oh, that was probably a toilet in there. What an amazing building. That view down there is pretty creepy. So this looks like the area where the fire has been. As you can see down there, it's all collapsed. But there's loads of like pottery moulds in here. We'll have a look. I've just got to be careful where I step, because as you can see there are holes in the floor. Let's go through here. Look like they were toilets. Yeah, toilet cubicles. I wonder if it was men and women that worked here, or just men, or just women. It does feel strange walking around knowing that this was a factory, and it's not anymore, yet you can still hear factory sounds outside from the newer factory. Look at all these moulds. Look at them. Look at that. All different designs. Moulds for all different things. A lost industry, isn't it? There's a decorative jug there. Such a shame.